Hey guys, we're going to be going over lesson 3.2e, linear equations and transformations. So this is just your notes from the lesson. Since we did the Bungee Barbie lab, this is what we're going to be doing today. So go ahead and take your notes out, follow along. It's really key when I say to pause it. I would really like you to pause and answer those questions, so just don't follow along with me the entire time. So let's go ahead and look at this. On number 1, it says I want you to graph y equals x plus 3. So to do that, remember we need to know the slope. Slope is the coefficient of x, which is just 1 over 1. And the y-intercept, or the b value, is right here. It's positive 3. That's my starting point. So to graph this, I just go up 1, 2, 3, and I plot a point right here. And I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. From there now, I can go ahead and graph my equation of a line, which looks just like that. Okay, so make sure you have that graph taken care of. Now I want you to predict. The equation that I just graphed was y equals x plus 3. I want you to pause and predict what the equation of y equals x plus 1. So the only difference between the two is that b value, and I want you to predict. There is no right or wrong answer of what it would look like. And I also want you to predict what x minus 3 would look like. So same idea. The difference here is the y-intercept. The same value is the slope. So how does your graph change when you have a different b value but the same slope? So now what it is asking for us to do is to graph these two equations onto our same graph. Now I'm going to go to a tool called Desmos.com. So if you guys don't mind, go to that as well. You just type in Desmos.com and it'll take you to this page and just say Start Graphing Calculator. This will help you a lot with graphing. So I'm going to graph my three equations on here. It says y equals, and please do this with me as I'm doing it along, y equals x plus 3. Now there's the graph I just made. And it also wanted me to graph y equals x minus 3. I want you to notice that the blue and the red line, minus 3. The blue and the red line are parallel. They're parallel because they have the same slope. They're going in the same direction. The only difference is the y-intercept. So when I change it to y equals plus 3, my graph shifted down 6 units because the difference from positive 3 to negative 3 is 6. So you can see it shifted down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Okay? Now I'm going to graph this new one, which is y equals x plus 1. That's my green line. As you can see from the red line, it shifted down 2 units now because the difference between the red and the green line is 2 units. So no matter what point we choose, the green line is always going to be 2 units down, 2 points down. Okay? So go ahead now and graph these 3 graphs onto your chart if you have not done so already. So go ahead and pause it here and graph it. Alright, so instead of graphing it on here, we graphed it on the other one. So just go ahead and do that. Now I want you to tell me, were your predictions correct or were they incorrect? Remember, there is no right or wrong answer, but what I want you guys to realize is if I have a graph, the only difference is if the if the b value changes, is if it goes up or down. The slope stays the same, so the lines are parallel. So this red and purple line, they're parallel, but when I shift it up and down, that is what happens if I change my b value. Okay? So the next thing, what is the relationship between the lines of y equals x plus 3, y equals x plus 1, and y equals x minus 3? So the slopes are the same. But the b value is different. Okay? So in blue it says the lines are parallel. And the y-intercept is different. Now I want you to write a different equation that would be parallel to the equations in this problem. So remember, the original equation was y equals x plus 3, and the slope stays the same. That's what it is in parallel lines. So I still need y equals x, and now I just need a different b value. It can be any number, it can be positive or negative. I'm just going to put plus 7. So this line would be y equals x plus 7, and if I bring up Desmos again, if I have a brand new line, I have y equals x plus 7. I have my orange line now, and you can see the line is parallel. I just shifted it up 7 units. 4 units from the red line. Alright, so now let's go ahead and go to the next problem. So describe the movement of the line when b is increased. So let's go ahead and start in blue. I'm going to underline this in blue. If b value is increased, the line will shift up. And remember, the slope will stay the same. If the b value is decreased, the line will shift down. Awesome. So now what we're going to do is graph y equals 2x minus 4. So same idea. I'm going to go down negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to do my slope of up to over 1, up to over 1. And from there now I can graph the equation of a line, which would look like this. Okay? So the rest I'm going to do on Desmos. You can use on Desmos as well, but I want to make sure that you're putting all of this on your notes, okay? So what I want you now to do is predict what will happen when I graph y equals x minus 4, y equals 1/2 x minus 4, and y equals negative 2x minus 4. I want you to go ahead and pause this and predict and answer A, B, and C. So make sure you have A, B, and C written down before we graph these. Alright, so let's go ahead now and graph these. I'm going to get rid of all these. Now the equation that I'm focusing on is y equals 2x minus 4. So everything I look at now, I'm going to compare it to this graph, y equals 2x minus 4. Now let's see what happens when I type in y equals x minus 4. I want you to notice they both have the same exact y-intercept. It's right here at negative 4. But I want you to notice that the red line is more steep than the purple line. If you had to climb up the red line, it would be a lot more steep than the purple line. Hopefully here you can notice that the steepness is determined by the slope. We can go ahead now and graph y equals 1/2 x minus 4. Change that to an equal sign. And you can see that the black line is now less steep. I want you to notice that the smaller the slope gets, the smaller the absolute value of the slope gets, the less steep it'll be. So if I type in something that would be really steep, like y equals 10x minus 4, we have another red line. Let me change. Another red line that is even steeper. So I just want you to realize the higher the slope, the steeper the number will be. Okay? So I want you to go ahead now and, actually I need to do one more. The last one, I'm actually going to get rid of these two, and I only want to focus on the red one. And everything is going to be the same now, except that slope is going to be negative. When I have a negative slope, I want you to notice it is a reflection now on the y-axis. So let me bring up my tool so I can write this. If we were to look at this, and this was my mirror, like I'm cutting the graph in half, that is a mirror of the x and y axis. So what I mean by that is, if we look at this, this is 2 spots away from the reflection. This is 2 spots away. If I look right here, the distance from here to the origin is 5 spots. The distance from here to the line is 5 spots. So it's going to be a reflection. If I were to look at this point, it would be 5, 6. Here it would be -5, 6. Whatever your x value is, it's going to be the opposite for the other line. So for instance, this point right here is -10, this point right here is +4, -10, while over here it's -4, +10. Okay, so that is a reflection. So if it asks what's the relationship between a positive slope and a negative slope, if it's the same coefficient, if it's the same number, then it's just a reflection off the y-axis. Picture like if you have those Mac camera things and if you have that little mirror mode going down the middle, it's exactly what that is. Okay. So now let's go ahead and see if your predictions match. So after I graph those, y equals x minus 4, y equals x minus 1/2 x, and y equals -2x minus 4 on the same coordinate plane. So I'm going to do this on Desmos one more time. I want to make sure you have it. I want you to make sure all these are graphed onto your notes. The last one was y equals x minus 4. Okay. Make sure you have the blue, the red, the orange, and the green line all graphed on there. Okay. Were your predictions correct? Why or why not? So go ahead and pause this, and I want you to answer E, F, G, and H. So go ahead and pause it now. Alright guys, you should have E, F, G, and H all filled out. So were your predictions correct? Describe the movement when the slope is increased. So when it's increased, you have a steeper line. And when it is decreased, when the slope is decreased, you have a less steep line. Alright, describe the movement of m when m is changed to negative. So remember, when m was positive, it looked like this. And then when I changed it to negative, it looked like this. But since the numbers were the same, it's just a reflection off the y-axis. So we can write reflection of y-axis. So I want you to write an equation that would be even steeper than the following equations. So same idea, just go to Desmos, and you just need to change the slope. So the number in front of x to something that is greater than 2x. So any number greater than 2. So if I put 4x minus 4, you can see that that purple line is steeper than the red line. I can get rid of the rest so we can see it a little easier. It's steeper than the red line. So as long as any number is greater than 2, you'll have a steeper line. Okay, so now on number 3, you're going to have to come up with the equations that are a little different with the shifting up and down or steepness. So looking at this one, we're going to be focusing on y equals 2x plus 4. You want the slope to stay the same, but you want it to shift up 2 units. So you have y equals 2x because the slope stays the same, but if you want to shift it up 2 units, you look at your y-intercept and you just go up by 2, which would be 6, because we started at 4 and we went up 2 to 6. The next one, it says the y-intercept stays the same. That's your b value, but it is less steep. So you need a slope that is less. So that would look like y is equal to a lesser slope. So I'll put any number less than 2x. So I'll put 1/3 x. And then my y-intercept stays the same, so it's plus 4. Finally, it says a line that is parallel to y equals 2x plus 4, but the line is translated down 7 units. So remember, the slope would stay the same, so that would be y equals 2x. And we're going to go down 7 units, that would be minus 3. Alright guys, please continue watching part 2 of the video.